So today on the channel, I'm going to be taking you through the adventure of installing a gear vendor's overdrive on a 1971 Ford Torino. So on the table here is the gear vendor's kit. You got your adapter, which this is application specific. The Torino has a C4 transmission, and I believe this adapter would only fit a C4. Here's the gear vendor's unit itself. I'm gonna leave it partially in its bag here. And then there's an assortment of small parts, which again, I'm just gonna leave in their packaging in the interest of them not disappearing around the shop in the process of me doing this job. All right, so the first step here is going to be to remove the drive shaft. The drive shaft is held onto the rear yoke by these 4 half-inch nuts attached to these straps. Real easy to take off. You really don't need much torque to get these to come off. Have I mentioned it's cold out? It is very cold out. Okay. So the loops holding the drive shaft onto the yoke are off, and the next step will be to push it forward so it'll drop, and then pull it out of the back of the transmission. Now you'll want to set up a drain pan, because about, I don't know, a pint or so of transmission fluid will come out of that transmission when we do this. Hopefully, let's see here. I guess first things first here. Push that forward. Oh, part of our U-joint stayed here. That's a bummer, but I guess we'll be replacing these anyway, so. Oh well. And now, if you can see it down there, pull this out. I'm gonna have to set the camera down to do this. It's draining slow, as it's very cold today, so that transmission fluid is nice. So with the drive shaft removed and set off to the side, our next step is going to be to remove this tail shaft here. I'll probably start by taking the speedometer cable out of the tail shaft, undoing that transmission mount right there, and then there are 5 or 6 bolts that connect the tail shaft to the transmission. Alright, so next what I'm doing here is undoing the transmission mount. It's the transmission mount has 2 bolts, 3/4 inch here and on the other side here. Kind of hard to get a camera up in there while I'm undoing them, but yeah, just wanted to show what I was doing. So next it'll be time to take off the 6 bolts that hold the cross member onto the transmission. There's these 2 down here and a 3rd one there, 4th one up a little further. I'm not sure if it's too dark up there or what to see. Then there's 2 more on this side. Uh-oh, this is not the correct wrench. Son of a, okay, time to go get the right wrench. Okay, hopefully this does the trick. She turns over. I think this is where I'm gonna stop for tonight. I've got the tail shaft, original tail shaft, unmounted here, but I gotta cut out a section of exhaust here, and I don't have blades for my saw. So tomorrow I'll get some blades and cut this exhaust out and get this tail shaft out of here, and we'll proceed onward. All right, so on to day 2. I've kind of just cleaned up under here to start off and marked a couple spots where I'm gonna cut the exhaust. So here goes nothing. One cut down, 3 more to go. I was gonna cut this one next, but now I'm wondering, it might be smarter to actually go to the other side and get that one next. I'd ask you what you think, but you're gonna be watching this after the fact, so it won't help me. All right, we're now to the stage of where we can start building this back up. Got the gear vendor's tail shaft here, and this will be the first thing we install onto the car. Before we can install it though, it says in the instructions to add ATF to the tail shaft bushing in there, which I have, and I'm just kind of rolling it around so we can get in the grooves. And then I'll add lithium, a little bit of lithium grease just to the seal here. All right, so I'm getting back under the car here, and I'm gonna see if I can get this installed. I have a feeling my parking brake linkage cable there, if you can see it, might give me some problems. I know it made pulling the other tail shaft out a little bit complicated, but we'll see. Maybe I'll get lucky here and we'll be able to just jump the front of this just over the cable. That's kind of how I got the other one out. So if the other one could jump over it going backwards, I would think I could sneak it over going forward. But we're about to find out. So we actually have an opportunity to see what I'm doing here. First, we gotta put our gasket on, which goes something like this. Yeah, I'm gonna try dropping the trans a little bit.
Oh, you are close.
All right. So the camera had died on me last time I was working under here, but the tail shaft housing is in for the gear vendors. And it took a little bit of kind of wiggling around, but it does fit in there, although it is a tight fit. Nothing's touching, which is the main thing. I did have to drop the transmission cross member down about 1/4 of an inch, but that was the only modification I really had to make under here to get the tail shaft housing to fit. Now, after I got the tail shaft housing installed, I did a little test fit of the gear vendor's unit itself, and basically, I don't have it marked just yet, but the gear vendor's unit at about here and here sticks out about 1/4 of an inch, so I need to basically create kind of a couple of small dimples in the tunnel here to make way for the gear vendor's unit. Oh yeah, we're back. I had to clean up all the metal dust that I was about to lay on. There's still a bit. So now I gotta keep trying to indent the tunnel so I can fit the gear vendors in there. Aggravation. Alright, so I'm on to the step of installing the coupler here. I did a quick test install, and the end plate needs to be less than 20 thousandths of an inch, and it was well beyond that. The kit comes with these shims here, and you just load them into the transmission side of the coupler until you achieve that less than 20 thousandths of an inch of end play. So that's what I'm about to do here.
You know us as St. Joe's, St. Mary's, AHA. What you may not know is Trinity Health has been our parent company for 22 years. And now it's more than that. It's our name. We come together as Trinity Health, so those we serve will know who we are and the extensive services we offer. Here, you're connected to one of the largest health systems in the country with access to experts, research, and technology.
All right, so that's about how I'd like to see it. Got 15 thousandths of end play, which is in spec per the directions. All right, so this is potentially a big moment. I'm gonna mount up the gear vendors unit, and assuming everything clears around the gear vendors, I will start fastening it down. It's tight, but it's looking good. All right, so it has 6 7/16 nuts, block nuts with washers, and it wants these torqued down in a crisscross pattern. I'll have to consult the manual for the torque numbers, but it was something pretty light, meaning this doesn't need to be tightened down with the force of God or anything. No, we've lost a nut. Or I've lost a nut now. Oh, there it is. Okay. Alright, just a little recap of where I'm at now. This is, got the gear vendors unit in place. It is mounted up. I did hook up the signal generator and speedometer cable adapter as well. I'm not sure if that's going to be the final position for it. I might mess with that later, but for now, just kind of hung it on this brace here. And next, it's time to hook up the electronics.